I want to hold on to this excitement that I have right now and what I had after my speaking engagement next year. And that those moments where I'm like, this is a lot of work. This is, I don't know if I can do whatever, or if calls are not coming in, or if I'm not getting any engagement and stuff like that. I want to remember the excitement and the energy that I have now, and just help, like, have that fuel me, right?
Hello, folks. Welcome to the Speaking for Profit podcast, where we talk about how to monetize your message and how to get financially free. I'm Evolve Benton, the Speaking for Profit coach, and today's conversation is all about what does it feel like to secure your first opportunity to hit the stage? And then we're going to talk a little bit about what is it like to be an LGBT professional in the workplace, especially right now. As many of you know, the last year has been very challenging for LGBTQIA plus folks, with all of the legislation coming from the government really putting us under attack. So I'm excited because today's guest is an expert when it comes to LGBT policy, LGBT rights, and also a part of the community. If you are watching right now on YouTube, go on and smash that button, give us some likes, and also subscribe. And if you're listening to the podcast, do not hesitate to leave us a review. It helps us to continue to build the business and continue to build our credibility and get out there in the world. So I'm excited that you all are here, and thank you so much for being here again. I'm going to bring Angie to the stage so that we can get into this conversation. And welcome again to the Speaking for Profit podcast. Hey, Angie, welcome to the space.
What's good? What's good, fam?
What's good, man? I'm so excited that you're here. As Rakita would say, cousin, welcome to the space, cousin, because that's what I feel, right? I feel like we are
Yeah,
all
yeah.
family, especially when it comes to speaking for profit. So, Angie, tell me in the audience, right? I probably already know this because I've known you for a while, but where are you located and what is bringing you joy right now?
So I'm in Detroit, Michigan. Shout out to D. What up, though? What up, though?
You know what? I've never been to Detroit. If I come through, can you give me a good tour?
Come on. Let's go. Let's go. I got
Okay,
you.
okay,
I
okay. I
got
got
you.
family. I got family that's from there, but I've never been. But I wanna go to Detroit. I've heard really good things about it. I gotta wait till it warms up a little bit, though. I've heard.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, don't between like November and April, sometimes May. Like, it's cold in May. Yeah, try not to.
Definitely.
But
So
yeah,
you're from Detroit. What brings you joy?
it's can I want to do two things. Like, two
Mm.
things that bring me is like equivalent joy is first of all, like, I'm a parent, and I got a 2 year old that's like smarter than I could ever imagine, and just so like witty and energetic and stuff. And no matter like what kind of day I'm having, when I come home and like that little munchkin is just like, opa, opa, and like gives me this big like, it's just amazing, like kids are just so pure and just so like stressless, and all about the world and learning new things and all that stuff. So yeah, so that's my joy. Like, can't nobody take that joy from me. And then my other one, which a lot of people know, if you know anything about me, I love to dance. So like that's just one of the things where, like, if I'm in the studio, like I'm working on some choreography or whatever, like my phone is over there, is at all the way against the wall. Like, I'm zoning out. Like, and it's just something that I do to, either calm me or just take me out of stressful situations, or just, it's so dope for me. Like, everybody knows that about me. If you don't know, so everything that I do, I wanted to come on here and do like a little intro.
Yes, yes. Well,
So
you know
I
what?
incorporated everything, yo.
Yeah, I love your sense of being in love with movement. I think it's so important, one, but number two, it brings out your personality and it's good for the body. And I love that you brought in your amazing child because, Angie, you really show up as a full parent, right? And I can tell that even when we're on our calls sometimes for coaching, the little one is there. We always talk about Speaking for Profit Junior, and I just think that you're just an amazing representation for that child to be around. So I'm excited that they get to see you in all your glory and in all your greatness. So you're currently working in higher education as we record this, correct?
Yes, I
How
am.
long have you been in higher education, and what was your path there? Because I know some people might be watching this and be like, I want to work at a university. I want to work in that type of space. So what was your path? How did you get your current position?
Hmm. My path is kind of interesting. Like I started out like undergrad as an RA, all involved in all the things, right? And then I went to grad school for student affairs. Then I, became a professional, right? And then all of a sudden, like I had this this moment in my life where I'm like, I need to pursue dancing as a career. And if I do it, I got to do it now. So I took a break from student affairs, flew out to LA, like moved, started gigging and started, performing. And, I did that work. Right. And so I came back to higher ed, after like 6.5 years of like professional dancing. And, it was hard to get into the work that I'm doing now. Cause like with LGBT centers, like they want you to have 3 to 5 years experience. But I'm like, well, how am I gonna get that without the experience? Like, give me the experience that I need, right? So that was hard. So what I was doing was doing this work outside of my job, if that makes sense. So I was a advisor, helping students like with their curriculum and stuff. But on the side and like, doing presentations and doing work over here, I was doing LGBT work. And I basically like tried to mold that into experience, right? Like when I did my interviews, I'm like, yeah, I got 2, 3, 5 years. Let's just put them all together. Like I did this and this and that. It wasn't an actual title or a position, but I did the work. And so somebody took a chance on me, yo, and like I'm here. So
Yeah.
I'm really grateful and thankful. But I'm at the University of Michigan as the program manager for events and partnerships. And, I've been there not even a year yet. And so I'm still learning and still growing and still like trying to figure out this whole like, area of work and stuff. And it's cool because like I'm in the community as well. So it's one of the jobs where like I can come and show up in my full self no matter what. And I'm with the people that when I get misgendered and all this kind of stuff, like I'm surrounded by people that aren't going to do that, right? I don't have to worry about that in my circle, in my colleagues at work, in the center, which feels really good. And I know a lot of people don't have that. I didn't have that before this position, and it was just like a toxic, like, just a challenging situation, not toxic, but like challenging situation where, you can't even be yourself in the place that you work, right? So I'm very fortunate to like just show up every day and be like so gay. Like I'm just like all the gay things and whatever. Like it doesn't matter.
I love it. I love it. So you were in LA. What years were you in LA?
2000 and 2012 to 14. Yeah.
Okay.
I was
I
there
was
for like
still
2 years. Yeah.
I was still there. I'm surprised. We probably did run into one another, and maybe, I think at that time in my life, did I have a fade yet? I done went through a lot of
Oh,
journeys
what?
of transition. I had short hair like you for a few
Nice.
years,
Okay.
and then I had locks like this for the longest, cut it all off, had
Okay.
short hair, grew it all back out. So this is why I tell people when they go through crises around here, it will grow back. Trust me.
Yeah,
I've,
yeah, yeah.
I've been there and done
That's right.
that. But I was
I
there
had
during
I
that
had
time.
locks for like I had locks for 11 and a half years, something like that, before I chopped mine. So like
Yep. Yep. We probably seen each other just in a different space. But that's really cool. So you have actually a degree in higher education. And
Mhm.
then you were like, okay, I really want to do this dancing thing. You took a break, you went back. What's really interesting is when I was working in higher ed, I had a not a similar experience, but a similar experience in getting in where it was really about relationships. So one of my homies hit me up. I was working at a nonprofit doing LGBT work. So I did have some experience there, but nothing in higher ed. Don't even have a degree in it, have a degree in psychology. And one of my homies was like, they're hiring for it. You should apply. I applied. My homie knew the director. And my first higher education job, believe it or not, Angie, was a AD. assistant director position.
What?
That is like so rare, right? Like that's like super rare in the field. And it was mainly because of relationships. So that's why even, within Speaking for Profit, I teach y'all it's all about a relationship and reputation business. Cause I do believe that if I didn't know my friend and they didn't tell me about, number one, I wouldn't even knew it was a job available. I wasn't
Right.
looking at no jobs. I wasn't even looking in higher ed. And then number two, I definitely probably wouldn't have been able to start there. Right. So that was really, really, really cool. And I'm proud of you because you went back and you have found a place called home. And I felt like when I was on a campus, the LGBT center was my safe haven, right? I was assistant director there, but literally as soon as I left that and went to other meetings on the campus, I had to navigate a lot of that bureaucracy, sometimes, as you say, be misgendered, and really show up as a advocate for everyone in the space, right? Almost like the representation of the community. So I'm proud of you because I know it's like hard work, but it seems like you're really enjoying it. So you mentioned you're the program manager, and I know you also have your own business where you're speaking and consulting. How do you balance it all? How do you balance like being a parent, being a great colleague, and also being a business owner?
I'm still trying to figure it out, yo. Like I'm not even gonna lie. I do not have that answer. If it, I'm gonna be honest. I'm just trying to. Well, first of all, like I just want to name that like I do have support. My wife has like been there since day zero, and just been like, what do you need? I got you. Like, you want to do this speaking thing, you want to do this dancing thing, you want to do all the like, I'm all over the place. If you like, if you haven't like, caught on to that, but like, I'd be like, oh, I want to do this. And I have that support, which helps out a lot. So even like, I think it was last week or something. I was like, babe, like, I'm feeling like overwhelmed, like I'm, just kind of going through it or whatever. She's like, how can I help? What do you need? Like, you need me to take Munchkin and like, take them off your hands or whatever. So let me name that first as far as like how I'm juggling stuff, because that does help out a lot when I can just be like, okay, let me remove myself for like a few hours, get some work done. And my kiddo, like, unlike most 2.5-year olds, like associate the computer with like social media and like movies or whatever, she's like, oh, opa's working, like computer means work. And so like she's like associated that in that kind of way. So it's like a non-spoken support from my kiddo too. Like it's it's kind of cool. But with work and my speaking, like I've committed to certain things, right? Like throughout the week. So on Monday nights, I'm with you. Like I'm here. It's on my calendar. Like people always say, like, oh, I don't have time, or like I'm juggling too. If it's important to you, you'll make it happen. And that's what I've done. Like, every single week. And same thing with my kid. Like I know I gotta, do things with them or pick them up or whatever the case is. I know I gotta like, champagne the wifey, something, like doing all that, right? So it's like it's hard, and I haven't figured it out, and I'm still like every day, every week trying to balance that and checking in and making sure that things are good. I have a good support system at work to where they're like, what do you need? Angie, you need to delegate more. Like Angie, like what can I take off your plate, right? So I'm just as I'm speaking this, like I realize that I'm very fortunate in that sense to have that support and people that just care about my mental health.
Yeah, that's really dope. And I love that you mentioned your wife first. I don't know if you had a chance to watch that show, The Queer Ultimatum. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
So it was this. I'll send you the link. You got to watch. So it
Okay.
was this whole show, and pretty much the ultimatum is about people who are in relationships and someone wants to get married in the relationship, but the other partner is scared or kind
Mhm.
of like hesitant. So they're bringing people on this show to pretty much give them an ultimatum. It's like either you marry me or I'm out. But what they do on the show is they challenge their relationship. And during that time, they go and date a whole nother person for like a few weeks to see if they really want to be with that person. It's a lot of drama. And they did it with, they did it with the straight folks, but then they actually had a queer one. And it was just so much, Angie. And I felt like it really highlighted a negative stream of like marriage in queer relationships, like that we're afraid of it, that we're like toxic, that we can't be committed. So when people talk about being married and there's joy there, like when you mentioned your wife, there was like so much joy on your face. There was like a sense of comfort, a sense of calmness. I always want to ask this question because I want to be the person who pushes back on that narrative that we have to be in toxic relationships or that toxicity is even the main thing that exists in queer relationships. Like, what are maybe 2 tips you would give folks who are just getting married or wanting to get married? Like, how do you keep the marriage together? How do you keep it fresh? And yeah, just a little bit of your preaching on that side of things.
We've been together 13 and a half years and been married like 10 and a half or something like that. Like, I don't, no, sorry. 10 and a half years and together 5.5. Oh goodness. I'm getting our like dating and marriage mixed up. But so let's see. I would say be intentional about spending time together and about like if I mean when you have kids is you have to be intentional about like, okay, let's not do family time with the kid, like let's do adult time, us time. But I would say just being intentional about like loving on your partner, right? Loving on your spouse. Like we like we go on dates, right? Like we do date days and date nights. Like we try to mix it up. Like while the kids at school, like I'll take off work or something and be like, all right, let's go do something. So a couple times we've like gotten dressed in different parts of the house, right? And like, we would come out and be like, oh shit, damn, well, girl, you look good. Like, so just that like surprise, that energy that like when you first start dating, you always want to be like, shit, am I good? And that kind. So keep that throughout the marriage, right? Like keep that like sense of impression. Like we want to make an impression, we want to impress like the person that we're dating and all that. So like my wife and I have been good about like still wanting to impress each other, and like I still be flirting with her and be like, girl, you better stop, girl. Just those little things, and like she lights up, and then I light up. It doesn't always have to be so serious. Like just love on each other. And then the other one, which is one of our like relationship values, and I encourage anyone, relationship or marriage or whatever it is, to come up with values that you have together, because that really has been the glue for us. We're always like, oh, this is not one of our values. That I'm sorry for saying that's not what we agreed on, right? But one of those that's strong in ours is communication. And that's like, something that a lot of people hear, like communicate, but it really is, I think, undervalued or underutilized. And it's like, underappreciated and needs to be like strengthened more. And so like, we try not to make assumptions. Like, even though my favorite color is yellow, I don't want a yellow shirt. Like, like don't assume that I'm going to just ask me. Right. So I think that's been helpful. And we're still to this day, like, I'm sorry, like I could do better on my community. Just the other day, like I think I did something or said something, was like, yeah, my bad. I could have communicated that better. And like, we're humble with each other. We're honest with each other. And like, we give each other, like forgiveness for things. Like, it's not about like, oh, you messed up, like I'm mad at you. Just, forgive each other and move on and try to do better.
I love it. I love it. I hope y'all was taking some notes, right? Because I know some of y'all, it's getting to the cuddle season. It's getting a little cold outside. So we want to make
That
sure
part.
that we're building really, really good relationships. Attention public speakers, coaches, and consultants. Ever dreamt of booking 5-figure speaking and consulting contracts? In just 5 days, I'm teaching my tried and tested system to elevate your speaking and consulting business. Forget the cold emails, bypass the salesy pitches. This challenge is about building genuine high-value connections. And here's a promise I have for you. With a commitment of just 1 to 2 hours a day for 5 days, you're going to witness transformative results. On day 1, you'll learn how to craft a business strategy without cold emails or paying to speak. Day 2 is all about you redefining your profile to attract decision makers ready to invest in your expertise. By day 3, you'll have your very own 5-figure sales system to turn contacts into clients. By day 4, we will have you automating your funnel with proven templates and scripts. And day 5, I'm going to teach you how to master the art of discovery calls with a step-by-step checklist and exclusive 5-figure sales secrets. Whether you're just stepping onto the speaking scene or you're a seasoned pro, this challenge is tailored made for you. I'm going to teach you the exact strategies that have helped me help my clients make over $2 million in the last 2 years. The journey to a thriving 5-figure speaking and consulting business begins with this challenge. So, are you ready to redefine your limits, accelerate your growth, and bask in the limelight of your success? I want you to join the 5 days to 5-figure speaking challenge now. Let's rewrite your success story together. Simply head over to speakingforprofit.com. You're going to click that button that says 5 days to 5-figure speaking gigs so you can get started with the challenge. Can't wait to see you there. All right, now back to the show. Angie, you had your first paid speaking opportunity, and I consistently tell people I've helped a lot of people get paid opportunities, right? Like a few hundred at this point, which is wild. If I'm not counting everyone in S for P, because some people don't join the program, but come to a master class or come somewhere and then they get an opportunity. And people are always excited because I think it's almost like, what? I didn't think this was possible. But your excitement was like an excitement for the whole community. One, I want to know, how did it feel to get the opportunity? And then two, how did it feel to deliver it? Right. Because there was a lot of anticipation that came into it. You did a lot of practicing, a lot of preparing. And from the photos that I've seen, it looks like it was beautiful. But I would love to hear it from you. Like, what did it feel like to get the paid opportunity and then actually be able to deliver it and show up so beautifully?
It felt almost unreal to get the opportunity, in a sense of like, I've been doing this work unpaid, volunteer for the longest time. And I do it because I love it. I do it because speaking like comes natural to me. I can like, facilitate a room of people and like give my energy and stuff like that, right? So I just like doing it. And so to be able to get to a point where I can be paid for what I already like love to do is just amazing. So when I did get it, I was like, I don't know. Let me just, submit this proposal and just, kind of see. And with your guidance on like, okay, no, this should be your rate. Like you need to know your value and your worth and stuff like that. I was like, ooh, I don't know. They gonna say no, man. Like, that's too much or whatever. So it's all these doubts and all these, things that like I'm feeling or whatever. But when I did get it, it just seemed so unreal because I didn't think that that would be possible. To be honest, like I was like, I don't know, but it felt really good. I felt so grateful, and I actually got that opportunity from making connections, like you said, like networking and making connections and building relationships. One of the organizer was is also on the consortium of higher education LGBT professionals, which I got recently elected to, and so like I just like you said like you should be talking about your business every single day, right? And so that's what I was doing. And it just caught and was like, hey, we're actually looking for a key, like it kind of like evolved like that. So when I preparing for the actual delivery was stressful because I will let me just name that like perfectionism and all that stuff is like very like white supremacist culture and like always wanted to be like perfect and stuff like that, which I kind of like melted into. And like I'm realizing that as I'm going through the process of like, Angie, it doesn't have to be perfect, like you're gonna do great. Just I was just making sure, I just wanted to make sure that like I over delivered, as you say. And like I wanna make an impression to where people are like, yo, I need to have that person net, or like what call, just that kind of energy, right? And so it was stressful. It was stressful leading up to it, just making sure that like I had everything and building out my content and customizing it too. Like I wanted to make sure that I was speaking to the audience as if I knew them and knew what they needed and stuff. So I also got a lot of support, from my wife again, who was like, I did like a couple run throughs. I was like, babe, like, how does this, or, if I do like this, does that work? Or, does this make sense? And all those kind of things. I did, I recorded myself doing a run through. I showed you and you gave feedback, and the S for P community, they all gave feedback and stuff. And then like I did like a final run through like in person with my supervisor. And like I was like, yo, like I think I probably did more work than I needed to, but I'm happy with the results. I'm happy with like how everything turned out. I'm happy with like the 128 responses that I got on Takada. Like that was dope. Like that was a game changer, yo. Like thank you for thank you. And it happened so like, our speaker came in, Arel, or was it
Yep, a
Arel?
real moody. Yep.
Arel came in, like I think it was like the week before I flew out or something. I was like, "Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Let me take notes. Let me take notes." And so, like that was just perfect timing, and I didn't realize like how powerful the Taco Dot was, and I did it all smooth like Arel. So I was like, "Yeah, so." I would like to get your feedback so I can improve, and I want to keep delivering my message and stuff like that. And I was like, Arel will be proud, yo. That was what I was thinking. But yeah, I got a lot of great feedback, and I'm grateful just for the generosity of like people's words and comments too. I know that takes like time and takes intentionality to give that feedback. So yeah,
Yeah. I'm so proud of you, Angie, because when we talk about the speaking for profit roadmap, especially around over delivering, making sure you have a testimonial, ways to be able to follow up with people, like you really made the most of your opportunity. Right. Yeah, you got paid for it, which is great, but you made the most of it. And I know that there's things that are going to come from that opportunity. We'll talk a little bit more about it in coaching, right? Like what are strategies you can use for follow up. But I just want you to really sit in you even just explaining that you wouldn't have been able to do that probably 6 months ago. Like, what is the process of you getting it? Then once you get it, how do you make the most of the opportunity? How do you use talk it out? All of those things that you've learned as a CEO, it's going to help you in the future. And the way you absorb it and also just like have a dedication to it is just so powerful. There's so many people I see, and we talk about this all the time in S4P, they get on the stage and they suck, and they really suck because they don't care. It's not because of their delivery. They don't care.
yeah,
They're just on another stage, and I feel like you care about your audience, your delivery, and how you're going to impact people so much, and it's just so dope to see you be celebrated, because you should be, right? Because you actually care about the work. So it was an honor to be able to like see you like prepare for it. It took me back to some of my first times, and I don't remember having that much support, but also like I know I did. I had to, right? Because how else were we able to uplift one another? But you just did just a good job. And I was telling you before we got on here, I seen the pictures you posted on LinkedIn, and you was looking good too. So that matters as well, right? You was looking fly. You showed up really clean. So let's talk a little bit about S for P. Like, if someone's watching this and they're like, yo, I want to join, I'm interested, I always ask folks, what are two things that you would share with people that are getting started in it? Like, what are your favorite two things? Is it community? Is it the coursework? Is it evolve? Like, what really grounds you in being in community with folks? And what would you say to folks who want to join us, right? Because we're a family. And that's why I always tell people I don't just invite anyone into this community, because we have a particular thing that we're building, and I'm very protective of it. So for you, what would you say to someone?
yo, it's so many things that I love about the S4P. Like it just landed in my lap too. Like I think we connected on LinkedIn, and I was like, anyway, well, that's another story. But yeah, but I think the first of all, the gems that are dropped in each of our meetings, and what I mean by gems is like ideas or tips, tricks, different resources that people are using. Like I got a list of gems. I have a document called gems. Literally, I have a document called gems, and when we're in it, like I just like copy the link or I'll click on it and put it in my thing, and then like just have it as a list of things. Like I don't always know what it means at the moment or how to use it, or I might not be at that stage yet to use it, but I just like put all those aside. So like everybody's willing to share. Like it's not gatekeepy. It's not, like no competition. Like everybody's just like, yeah, you need this, or this is what worked for me. Or, I've got on calls with like some of the people from the community, like, after after our Monday call, I'm like, Rakita, can you help me? Or Miss Jai, like, I'm whatever it is, but everybody's been like willing to do that and take that extra time. So I would say that like the people on there just are genuinely willing to help, and nobody is like trying to up anybody else, which it feels really genuine. And that's why, like, when I got this opportunity, like everybody celebrated because it's like everybody chipped in. Like, I don't think there's nobody on that call that didn't help me in any kind of way. I'm getting everybody. I'm like, you got something over here. I like what you do. Can I have that? That kind of thing. And I wanna give that back to people, because I don't want to just like, you know, ask, but I want to get in. And sometimes, like in the calls, I feel like I don't always have things to contribute. But as I grow and as I, build my business, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I got something for you, or I got a comment, or I have a suggestion or advice or whatever. So I'm looking forward to that, and to be able to, like, look back at like a little, uh I don't know what to call me, as like a newbie, but like another newbie coming in, just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and don't know what to do, but just here and passionate about it. I'm looking forward to helping that person out.
Yeah, definitely. You know what, and this is the thing also, Angie, I want you to know that you do bring a lot. Because when you say something, you have a lot to say normally in that moment. And it's not, no shade on you. We're all speakers, right? Yeah, we have this joke where I'll be like, some of us are more longer winded than others, right? Because we're speakers on a call, but you have a lot to offer energetically, right? So even when you come in, that, and I think it's so special, is when people are feeling down or feeling like they're not enough, you will come off mute and be like, no, like, you shouldn't be feeling that way. Set up your boundaries. Like, those simple things, Angie, are so powerful, even if you ain't got a link to a tip, right? Like, those things, those are the things that people really remember. And I think that that's why when you had your win, so many people wanted to help you. Like, they were like, you know what, we know that Angie is here to support us all. And that's what I love about what we're building at S4P in our community. And the majority of us are Black, brown, queer, right? LGBT. So it also is a safe space. What I've been telling people is like, we're building the most inclusive speaking space in the world.
Mm.
Probably one of the most inclusive ones, right? And a lot of people want to talk about the money, but the money doesn't matter if people don't feel included and don't feel accepted. So it's just so important. So now let's shift a little bit. Let's talk about you as a business owner. You've got this amazing speaking in and consulting, right? Because you can hold space around like LGBT policy, supporting young people, of course, in higher education. What are your goals for your business in 2024? And who do you like working with when you think about a clientele?
That one put me on the spot.
You got this, fam. You got this.
Ooh, what? Oh, I don't know if this is more like an indirect, or if, I don't know what to call it, but what kind of goal. But I want to hold on to this excitement that I have right now, and what I had after my speaking engagement next year. And that those moments where I'm like, this is a lot of work. This is, I don't know if I can do whatever, or if calls are not coming in, or if I'm not getting any engagement and stuff like that. I want to remember the excitement and the energy that I have now, and just help, like, have that fuel me, right? So that's one of the goals that I have, because I know that there's there's times, and even, right now, I mean, things are kind of slow, on my end. So it's like, how do I keep that motivation? I want to stay motivated. I want to stay committed to what I'm doing, in the honesty that it's a lot of work. Like, this is more work than I imagine. Like, I'm like, I want to speak, and I love to do it, but there's a lot of stuff on the back end that I need to do, and it's not always easy. So I do want to continue spreading the word, and spreading, like, my experience and my knowledge with people. I'm not an expert, like, all I can do is just share my experiences and be vulnerable with people, so that they can see, like, I want to be like a model for people, like when they see me being vulnerable and talking about my flaws in the DEI work. Like, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I talk about that in my talks, right? And I think when people see that, and see that, like, non kind of expert person on the stage, and like, this is me, I know the answer, and listen to me, kind of thing. I want people to take that and do that for themselves too, right? Like, this work doesn't being like, a supporter of marginalized communities, and, being, if you want to use the word ally, being, that kind of thing. It's not about learning about different people and cultures. It's about yourself and how you show up in the world, what privileges you bring, and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to keep that alive in any kind of way I can. I don't really know exactly what that looks like, but that's like the overall vision.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. And who do you like working with when you think about clientele? I know you got a chance, right? This first paid opportunity was at a college,
A
right?
university. Yep. Yep.
Definitely. So are you thinking that that's who you primarily want to support as you move forward, or are you interested in going into any other industries?
I like the higher ed environment just because I know it and that's familiar to me. Doesn't mean that I'm not open to other organizations or corporations and nonprofits and all that stuff, right? It like you can insert, like, it doesn't matter what industry you come from. Like, I'm gonna be speaking to people, right?
Mhm.
So the people is what connects everybody, and you can take away the university name, you can take away the corporation. I want to just talk to people. It doesn't matter where you come from.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Attention public speakers, coaches, and consultants. Ever dreamt of booking five-figure speaking and consulting contracts? In just 5 days, I'm teaching my tried and tested system to elevate your speaking and consulting business. Forget the cold emails, bypass the salesy pitches. This challenge is about building genuine high value connections. And here's a promise I have for you. With a commitment of just 1 to 2 hours a day for 5 days, you're going to witness transformative results. On day one, you'll learn how to craft a business strategy without cold emails or paying to speak. Day two is all about you redefining your profile to attract decision makers ready to invest in your expertise. By day three, you'll have your very own five-figure sales system to turn contacts into clients. By day four, we will have you automating your funnel with proven templates and scripts. And day five, I'm going to teach you how to master the art of discovery calls with a step-by-step checklist and exclusive five-figure sales secrets. Whether you're just stepping onto the speaking scene or you're a seasoned pro, this challenge is tailor-made for you. I'm going to teach you the exact strategies that have helped me help my clients make over $2 million in the last 2 years. The journey to a thriving five-figure speaking and consulting business begins with this challenge. So are you ready to redefine your limits, accelerate your growth, and bask in the limelight of your success? I want you to join the 5 days to five-figure speaking challenge now. Let's rewrite your success story together. Simply head over to speakingforprofit.com. You're going to click that button that says 5 days to five-figure speaking gigs so you can get started with the challenge. Can't wait to see you there. All right, now back to the show. All right, Angie. So before we close, I would love to hear from you. How can people really support your work? Where can they find you if they're ready to hire you right now? If they've heard your story, they're like, this is legendary. We want to bring Angie in. How do they tap in with you? And then is there anything that you want to share further about you, your speaking, or about your life or your journey?
I'm on LinkedIn, like full time. So I'm on there. I'm very active on LinkedIn. So definitely connect with me on LinkedIn is probably like the best way to get in touch with me or to get a hold of me. You can, direct message me on there. If you like some of my stuff or comment, like, I'm gonna comment back. I'm gonna be like, oh, cool, thank you. That kind of thing. So I'm gonna give you some love. For those that aren't on social media, because I know, like, social media is not always either accessible to everybody or like a preference, right? You can definitely email me at Angie Freeman 1124 at gmail.com. Yeah, you can definitely reach me directly like that. So just don't be giving out my email to everybody though. Like, I don't want all the spam mail and all that kind of stuff. But I'm easy, y'all. Like, I'm so personable. Like, I'm easy to get along with and just talk to, and I'll admit when I don't know something. And like, I just want to, if you're willing to do, to receive the work and do the work and put the work in, like, I'll come and guide you along that way and do the best that I can to do that. And that's just what I can offer. So a lot of people say that, the energy that I bring is very powerful. And the fact that I am vulnerable and I do speak, my flaws and my truths. And, I give lots of examples of my experience and that kind of thing. I think those things really make a difference as opposed to speaking in theory and just kind of saying all these, kind of broader things. Like I'm just human, y'all. Like I look at the audience members. I'm like, yeah, you too. Yeah, me. Yeah, I did it. Let's rock with it. So just try to bring that like uniqueness.
Yep, you sure do, Angie. I'm extremely proud of you, y'all. We will put that in the show notes as well so that y'all can click those links and get connected to Angie. Angie, it has been an honor and it's been a joy to have this conversation. I knew I was going to have a good morning because I was like, oh, I get to talk to fam. So thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to tap in with you later on and talk a little bit more about how we can get you more opportunities. But I just want you to know that I'm proud of you. It's an honor to work with you. And thank you for coming on the Speaking for Profit podcast. Thank you for taking your time out from the family, from the work, from the business to be here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you as well. Like you are more of an inspiration than Evolve. Like I'm so just honored and so grateful to be in your circle. Like, I think you're more of a powerful person than I probably know. And I'm like connected with such like a, icon legend in like our community. So I want to just thank you in advance. And this is cool. Like you invite me here today is like me? What? So I'm just humble, yo. I'm just humble and I just love it. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Well, all right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, peace.